Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rating Your Football Manager 2024 saves. And I have been sent some excellent ones again this time. 3 saves all in England. What a coincidence that is. You've got a Burnley save, a Yeovil save and a Dorking save to go through. Some absolute class achievements. And if you want to be part of this series, just comment below and I'll get in contact with you and see how you can form part of this. But I just want to thank everyone for sending in their saves, and I will get round to reviewing every single person's save that you do send in. Now, let's get into the first save, which is Burnley. And if you haven't seen this series before, we rate the saves on the originality of the save, the tactics, the transfers, the staff and the achievements all within this save. And we do bear in mind how far you are into your save as well. So if you're only a few seasons in, we'll be a little less harsh. But if you are, many seasons in, then there's a bit more of stuff that we can get into. But it doesn't matter if you're only a few seasons in, do send them in to me and do like this video. But that's enough of me waffling. Let's get into this. A Burnley save. Well, Burnley are back in the Premier League under Vincent Kompany in real life, and you don't really see many people managing Burnley unless you support Burnley. I don't know personally if Carl does support Burnley or not, so do forgive me for that one, Carl. But for the originality of this save, and I can see he's had Ioannis as one of his favourite personnel, who is a Greek legend. So for that reason, I'm going to give this a solid 4.1 out of 5. Some very good staff here in the staff section. He is the top staff in terms of coaching. Something I love to see. You know, it's a pet peeve for me when not all of the coaching slots or scouting slots or medical team are filled out, and I love to see that he is the best in coaching. Now, there is a slot missing in the recruitment team, and it isn't the best in the league, but he does have to compete with some big teams in the league, and he is Burnley. He is in 2031, so there's been a fair few seasons, but I'm going to cut him some slack for that because you've got to compete with United, City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs, all those big clubs there. And then medical staff as well. He's filled out all the slots there, but it's not the best in the league. Again, Premier League, you've got to be very, very tight. It's going to be tough to be the best of the best of the best. But I appreciate the effort here. He's done really well. He's obviously tried to fill out all of his staff, and he's tried to get the best staff that he possibly could. So I'm going to give this a solid 3.9. Things I love to see in the tactics section as well. There are crazy tactics or asymmetrical tactics, and this is a crazy tactic. He's got 2 holding midfield players, 2 cams, 2 strikers, 4 at the back. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it's a crazy tactic. He's done very well when we come on to the achievements. He's got 2 slots filled out as well, and the other one is a 4-2-3-1. You know I'm a sucker for a 4-2-3-1 as well. So, and they look like they're his own tactics as well, quite possibly. So that's very, very good to see. Only 2 tactic slots filled out, and I love the originality of this perfect 4-2-2-2 tactic as well. Let's see how he's done. He's done very, very well. For the tactics, because we don't have all 3 slots filled out, we kind of have to judge it on that as well. So again, I'm going to give it a 3.9. Now, Gary's save is unique to ones that I've had before because he hasn't just been at one club and he's moved his way through. So we can't really judge him on the traditional transfers. We can in Burnley in a couple of seasons' time. But what I wanted to go through instead of the transfers for Gary would be his timeline. Now, his manager's timeline, he started off at Guisbury, which is very, very good. He won the Northern Division 1, impressed there really, really well. He's had great winter windows as well. Northern League Cup triumph to add to that as well. He's also then done so well that he resigned, that he went on to a bigger club in the National League South in Havant and Waterlooville. And that's a big step up. He won the National League South triumph as well. That's absolutely class. He got Manager of the Year as well, which I thought was unbelievable for him. And then he won the National League with Havant and Waterlooville as well. So he got them promoted from non-league to the Football League. And that secured him a job at West Bromwich Albion. Now, West Brom got promoted from the Championship, which was absolutely class. He got them back into the Premier League. And he managed to do good things with it. He had a golden generation come through at the club. And then Burnley were relegated and he took the job at Burnley. And it was a big deal because Burnley was struggling at the time. And he's come in and he's got them up from the Championship, as he did with West Bromwich Albion, with Ioannis scoring loads of goals. What a Greek legend he is. And he kept going. He kept going with Burnley. He won some great things. He signed Julian Ionesco. And then he ultimately won the Premier League with them in 2031. Now, this is absolutely class. This timeline ties in with his achievements as a manager as well. And I'm going to give this a solid 4.8 out of 5. To round it off for Gary, we're going to look at his season where he won the Premier League and the transfers that he made in order to win the Premier League. And we're going to judge it out of 5-star on that. He brought in £216 million worth of players and sold 133 million. But ultimately, this is what won in the Premier League. Players like Ionesco, Yusufa from Everton, Lucas Dippart, Callum Doyle, which is a random one, but very good player. Dennis Seaman in there for a bargain as well. So he did spend a lot of money, didn't make as much. And, normally I like to play the game as Moneyball, but I'm going to give this transfer window a solid 4. This gives him a solid 4.1 out of 5. I think this is an unbelievable save, and I feel like he's going to go on and achieve so much more with Burnley and in this save to make it up to the 5-star. What a save to start off this save review. Next up, we have a Dorking save sent in by Andy Ritchie FM. He's a great guy over on TikTok. If you don't already, go and subscribe to his channel. He's an absolutely nice lad, and he is a Rangers fan as well. So if you're a Rangers fan, go and show some love for a fellow Rangers fan. Now, his save is a Dorking Wanderers save, which is, I like it. They're big on social media. You don't really see too many people being Dorking. If you're going to be a social media team, it is normally hashtag or Wrexham. So, yeah, it's great to see this sort of stuff. And I like to give Andy, for originality, I'm going to give it a solid 3.8. In terms of staff, it is something that I do love to see. It is the coaching staff, the recruitment team, and the medical staff all are filled out. And I'm going to cut Andy some slack here because he has just got promoted to League 2. So he's going to be struggling to get the best in the league, having just come up from the Vanarama National League. But he is doing very well with the best medical team and some of the best coaching as well. Recruitment team needs some work, so maybe some ins and outs to do there. But I'm going to give this a solid 4 out of 5. In terms of the tactics, I do like a 4-3-3, and all 3 slots are filled out, which is something you have to do on this Football Manager. There's some slight differences in the tactics. A 4-4-2 tactic there, some Brexit ball. Who doesn't love Brexit ball in League 2? I mean, it just feels like Dorking would play that kind of tactic, I'm not going to lie. But the 4-3-3s and having players like Harry Arter, Scott Dan, there's some very, very good Marcus Dewhurst as well. I've just noticed Charlie Carter, Luke Berry, very good players in this squad. All the tactics are there. All the slots are filled out, and he's doing well in Sky Bet League 2, and this is going to be one of the reasons. I keep banging on about it, but keep doing it. This is a solid 4.1 out of 5. In terms of the transfers, Andy is only a couple of seasons in, so he did make 1.9k of transfers whilst being in the National League, and there's obviously a lot of free signings in here, and some great young players that he's loaned into the football club as well. Kim Joo-soo's got a lot of talent, Zayn Morales as well has a lot of talent, and then moving when he's come up to the League 2 level, he's made some great signings like Marcus Dewhurst. I'll just show you him here. He's a very good League 2 goalkeeper. He's a great goalkeeper at this level. I'd recommend getting him if you haven't had him before. Other players like Ty Soji is a striker that can do bits. He's a former Man City graduate. He's either up or down. He's either very good or not so good. Hasn't really done that well for Andy in this save so far, but I know he can get the best out of him. Obviously, if you're going to sign a Man City graduate, you're best off doing it. Players like Carl John as well is a quality signing at right back, former Everton Academy player as well. So this is a very, very good window. He's not spending money. He's getting good academy graduates in, and he is doing well in the league as well. Second in Sky Bet League 2 after just being promoted is an absolute W. So I think for this transfer business, it's a solid 4.2 out of 5. And that leaves him with a rating of 4.08 out of 5. I think there's a few things he could do to improve the save, and I'm sure as he goes into it, we can start moving more towards the 4.3s, 4.4s out of 5. It's an excellent save, and I've saved one of the best ones till last. You don't often these days see a Yeovil save. You used to see them quite a lot a few years ago when they first got down into the National League, as it was a bit of a shock for them to go down. But the Glovers are in good hands, and they are in William's hands, and he is doing very, very well. He's got them promoted to Sky Bet League 2, which is absolutely class. He is in 2026, so he's a few seasons on in his save, and he's having good progress. But for the originality of this save, I'm going to kick it off with a 4 out of 5. In terms of the staff, it isn't the best in the league, and there are slots that are still not filled out. So it's a little bit of a disappointment. I mean, the medical staff there's no physio, there's no head of sports science as well. I'm sure he will get one further down the line because you absolutely need a physio. I know he's got a head physio, but you do need that physio. It's going to help you with the injuries, essentially. And I think one of the things here is he's done well with the coaching. There's some work to do on this, but I'm going to have to give it, because there isn't really much to go on here, I'm going to have to give it a 3.3. Moving on to the tactics, and he has got 2 of the 3 slots filled out. I love that he's got a 4-2-4, if you want to call it, and a 4-4-2. I think it's just great at this level to see this type of football. You don't really see 4-4-2s that much anymore unless they're asymmetrical, and the traditional 4-4-2s work very well. I mean, he's got a lot of good links with his players in here. So it's systems that he's been playing for a while. Everyone knows their role, and that's why he's doing so well in Sky Bet League 2 this season. It's because he's got good tactics. They know the tactics, and he's got the players for the tactics as well. It's a shame there's not all 3 slots filled out, but I think given how well the tactics are performing and how he's doing in the leagues, this is a solid 4.2 out of 5. In terms of the transfers, there isn't much big budget going to be spent as he is in the lower league, so don't expect big money in and big money out as we have seen on this series so far. 1.9k out and then 7k of spending. He's got some free players in from Birmingham, QPRs on loan, and some other good players in as well. In the 25-26 season, 55k in spent on Joel Coleman, who is now his backup goalkeeper and has been a backup goalkeeper for him, which is, you know, fair enough. If you need a backup keeper, you need a backup keeper. You do have to sign them. I'm not going to lie. In that case, you've got players like George Wickens as well, who's been his #1 goalkeeper on a free transfer and a 5-star signing. Absolute beast. Former Fulham wonder kid as well. Absolutely class. And then other players in, he's brought in some experience from Hayataspor and sold to Man City as well, I believe. I don't know quite how that's worked. Maybe he was on a free and then got released and went on a free to Manchester City. Bit of a strange one there. Not quite sure how that would work as well. But Fedor Roslan came in as well and has played 1 game, which is fairly decent for him. And I think overall the transfer business is a solid 3.9 out of 5. In terms of the achievements, the only achievements he's had is finishing runners-up in the Vanarama National League in 2025 to come into his first season in Sky Bet League 2. Has got Yeovil promoted. Promotion is always a good achievement. Didn't win the league, which is fair enough. You can't always win it. Didn't win the FA Trophy either, which is also fine. But I feel like he's going to do big things with Yeovil, and these achievements are fairly good out of the ones he could have done. So I'm going to give this a solid 3.9 out of 5. That gives him a final score of 3.86. And if you want to be part of this series, comment below and we'll figure out how you can send me the save. And I'd love to rate your saves. And if you don't already, do like this video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you on another video.